Okay, I'm going to make this video as short and sweet as possible because my last couple of videos, including some that I haven't even made live yet, especially the pick cards, have been particularly long. Okay, so I'm trying to make this as short and sweet, and I felt inspired to do this video because of something that I saw and experienced while I was doing errands. And I felt called to do this video in kind of, I don't know how this is gonna go, but I made two sets of spreads, as you can see on the screen. So there's one set on the left and one set on the right. I'm not sure how we're going to read this. It might go like one of them is pal 1, one of is pal 2, but both you need to listen to both to see both perspectives because you might find it helpful. Another way this could resonate is maybe the left side is a side that represents your feelings, and the right side is what represents the views of outsiders, people looking into your life from the outside. And wait a minute, I feel like that version, the latter, is what we're going to do for this reading. I don't know. I got home and I felt, okay, I really need to do a reading about this. And I put all the cards on the table, took a photo, and I guess that's how we're going to do this. Okay. So the cards on the left represent you. The cards on the right represent how people look at you from outside of your life, especially strangers, acquaintances, people who don't know you well, people who don't know what your deal is. And this video will resonate if you are somebody who fits into your cultural beauty standard, okay? So I know each culture, each country, each subculture has different beauty standards, and whatever that means to you, you fit into that beauty standard. This reading is for you. And I know some people are going to, oh my God, she's a lookist. She likes to discriminate people. She only makes readings for beautiful people. No, that is not the case. This is a very specific issue, and it is a frustrating issue. And there's no way around it. People are going to hate me for this reading regardless, but it needs to be said. When average looking people are found out to be single, not taken, not partnered, people just take in that information and they move along, right? But when an attractive person is single and they appear to not be looking, people either pity that person or, well, okay, I wouldn't say they pity that person. I guess no matter what you look like, if you're single, there are going to be people who pity you. But when an attractive person is single, people will get all sorts of nosy. People will start making weird assumptions about you. People are going to assume, oh, she must have a terrible personality because how is she that attractive and single? What's wrong with her? You know what I mean? Now, I'm a heteroromantic woman, so please forgive me if in this reading I get a little heteronormative, because I think this is a pressure. This is particularly a pressure that heteronormative people deal with. I feel like once you're out as queer, people don't pressure you like this, I guess. But if you live in a heteronormative culture, if you're heteroromantic like me, or if you're just heterosexual in general, I think this might be an issue. People make assumptions about heteronormative, heteroromantic, heterosexual people when they're single, and they're not bad looking. You know, they start assuming you have a terrible personality. They start assuming what's wrong with you. And not saying I'm attractive in other cultures, but in my culture, I fit a couple of beauty standards. And the trouble with my culture is I don't think people quite understand what it means to be on the spectrum. I remember when I was in school, I stood in front of my dorm room, and this guy was coming on to me, and I didn't understand that he was essentially trying to get me to invite him into my room. And I just didn't understand it. I just kept talking and talking and talking to him until he went away. See? it's kind of things like that your culture doesn't understand, that your family and friends don't understand, that society doesn't understand what's wrong with you. And it's not necessarily because you have a bad personality. So I feel like from your perspective, you got damsel and shapeshifter. I know the damsel card came up in the upright, and it says, understanding the nature of healthy romance inspires you to rely on yourself. I feel like for people who resonate with this reading, you are partly single. And I don't know if you realize this or not, but part of why you're single is because you are traumatized by other people's traumas. Does that make sense? So you could have witnessed your parents go through a terrible marriage. You have seen other examples. So let's say you're 30 and most of your friends got married in their early 20s and your friends married young. And you know, when you marry young like that, you lack life experience and you don't know, you can't really discern people. Your BS meter isn't quite developed. Because when you get older, your BS meter does get better. Maybe your friends, I don't know how to put this without sounding rude, but you witness your friends marrying a cat in a bag. And I feel so terrible saying that because I don't feel like that's nice to cats. But let's just say, you witness your best friend marry a cheater, or you witness your cousin marry young and she married an abuser, and it's made you cautious. Or let's say your family member married out of the norm and you witnessed the way your family treated this person and ostracized them and estranged them, and that traumatized you. So part of the reason I feel like with damsel, you're independent out of emotional necessity. I'm hearing the term emotional psychological necessity. So you need to feel safe within yourself. You need to feel reliant on yourself before you can trust another person. And that is so smart. The fact that this is even happening within you at a subconscious level is a beautiful thing. Because most people have to be taught this. But the fact that you know deep in your heart that you need to be financially stable, that you need to have a steady job before, you just need to feel good about yourself before you go out there. And I know a lot of people will say, well, you don't have to be perfect to start looking for a partner. I don't think you're desperate for a partner. And I don't know why I'm even making this reading. I just felt kind of the urge to make this reading. I think part of why I'm making this reading is because I want to create a safe space somewhere on the internet for maybe just a 10-minute video where I can talk to people who resonate with their energy so they just know that they're not alone. Okay, and the second card next to the damsel is shapeshifter. So I feel like with the shapeshifter and the energy of the damsel of understanding the nature of healthy romance inspires you to rely on yourself, and then skill at navigating through different levels of consciousness, ability to see the potential in everything. I feel like you're constantly learning. And this is the irony of my single collective here, is that you initially, you might be single at an age where you're expected to be partnered, and I feel like the older you get, some people, the older they get, the more desperate they become. You, my collective here, the older you get, the more comfortable you feel within yourself to be independent, because I feel like the more you learn about life, the less you want a partner. I don't know if that makes sense. So let's say your cousin gets into a bad marriage and you learn about this bad marriage when you're 25, and then you're 27 and your best friend gets divorced. You're 29 and your parents' toxic relationship where they've tried to keep it together for 40 years disintegrates. And so by the time you're 31, you're kind of, you have learned so much, and you become less desperate to get partnered up, get coupled up. It's I'm getting something like that, and you're not pressed, okay? If you, and there's nothing wrong with feeling pressed to get partnered, but I feel for my collective, I feel. I feel for my collective, you're not pressed. You're not out here you're not going out desperately trying to find a partner. And the irony with that is that the more you kind of boss up, because I'm shifting more to the right side of the reading here. So the right side is the way people look at you from the outside. And like I said, attractive people, when they're single, they inspire prying energy. People pry. People want to know why you're single. What happened to you? What is quote unquote wrong with you? I'm not saying there's anything wrong with you. People, I'm not saying anything's wrong with you, but people wonder what is wrong with you. And I feel a need to say that you need to be okay with this. Okay, this is not. I know this is such a pessimistic thing to say in a reading, but this will never go away. Okay? You are at peace with who you are, and you are at peace in your singlehood. But the fact that people will always pry and always question and always be a little suspicious of you because, she's not bad looking. Why is she single? That will never go away. I'm so sorry. That will never go away. And sometimes I just need to deliver, I have to deliver the reality as it is, because it's better for us to know that this is something that will never go away and we'll just have to live with it. And other than that, like I said, the more you mature, the more you boss up, the more you become self-reliant and independent, you enter kind of this king energy. And the king card here, I love this king card because it's got the stars, it's got the moon, it's got the sun, and the sun is masculine energy and the moon is feminine energy. And it's kind of this king is in his kind of garments which look like the ethnic garments that they wear in my country. And I feel like, and there's a wave, so you're emotionally stable. And with the star energy, you have with all the little yellow stars, it's kind of the energy of servitude toward your community, because that's Aquarian energy. The star card is Aquarian energy, and you've got many interests, you've got many hobbies. And it says here, light attributes, enlightened, benevolent leadership, benefiting those in your charge. So I feel like you're more focused in creating your personal legacy rather than finding somebody to complement you. Because my sense with the king card, the more you better yourself, the harder this is kind of, I don't want you to feel disheartened as I say this, but the more you boss up, the harder it is to find somebody who will complement your life. Because in my experience, for some single people, me personally, I look for people who complement my life and not complicate it. And once I get one tinge of a complication, if they bring in unnecessary drama, unnecessary conflict, I just cut them off. And it's kind of like, you can be in my life and you don't need to give me anything. I don't have to benefit from you, but just don't create unnecessary complications. Does that make sense? And I feel like that's your mentality with it. And people can sense this energy. People can sense this energy and they kind of feel a little intimidated. Some people feel intimidated. Some people pity you, especially the very traditional people. I feel like they will pity you. But there's something about you being attractive and single at the same time that makes people think that you reject people because you have such high standards that people can never meet it. And some people might even think, oh my God, this girl must be a little delusional, or this guy must be a little delusional. Actually, I feel like this reading is for feminine energies. And by feminine energies this time, I don't just mean an energy, but most likely for women. I feel like because when men get away with being single at a longer age range, a more a more broader age range, whereas women are only acceptable as single people until a certain point. So I feel like, yeah, I feel like some people might look at you, and I'm so sorry to say this, but some people look at you and think, oh my God, she must have unrealistic expectations. And sometimes, I mean, I guess when you say, well, I just want somebody who doesn't bring complications into my life, I guess that can be, I guess that can be an unrealistic expectation, because honestly, who in on this planet, who on this planet doesn't add some complication to another person's life? Everybody's complicated. Everybody's a little drama. Everybody will add conflict into your life. And maybe you just have no tolerance for that and you just rather be single, and that's okay. And that's okay. People will always make assumptions about attractive single people, especially if they're not seen to be looking. There's something acceptable, socially acceptable about an attractive single woman who's still looking, but attractive single women who don't even bother looking and just live their life and mind their business and run, just achieve other aspects of life. There's something about women like that that really triggers some people. And I feel like some people might judge you for that. But here's the thing though. I just, of course I had to draw some self-love oracle cards for you. Okay, so your self-love oracle card is call to action. I will not compare my journey to others. But I feel like for some of you, because you got the Kate Bush card here, and the Kate Bush was known to be a very kind of one-of-a-kind, unique person who, I don't know, it's kind of like I don't give an F energy with her. Never let go of mystery. I feel like you're a very private person. So this exacerbates people prying and people's nosiness as to why you're single. I don't know. Maybe if this is very specific, but if you're on the spectrum or you're neurodivergent and that's why you're single, you should say it at some point publicly on your socials. I don't know. You do what you want, but I feel like giving people a little understanding on why it is you are the way you are might kind of put the load off you, because I'm seeing the 10 of Wands here, and I think that you do think about it sometimes, you do kind of worry, what do people think? It's not like here's the energy I'm getting. I'm getting somebody who doesn't care that they're unpartnered, but occasionally, when you go out and you're within a community where that kind of thing is of value to the people you're dealing with, you kind of wonder, how do these people perceive me? And I feel like I don't, despite the self-love card saying I will not compare myself to my journey to others, I don't think you actually compare yourself. And this self-love card it's written more, the way this self-love card is written is more like a statement. It's not telling you to do it. It's a statement. It states, I will not compare my journey to others. So my sense is that this is already your state of mind. The cards aren't telling you that this is how you should be. The cards are confirming this is how you are. You're done comparing yourselves because no relationship is perfect. So, and I think you're of the mindset that, well, I'd rather be single than be in a toxic relationship. You're kind of that kind of person. And that's a wonderful thing. That's a wonderful thing, because why on earth would you get yourself into a toxic relationship? Cultivate nostalgia for what never was. So I think you actually romanticize your singlehood, and that is a beautiful thing. If you want to go casual, that's also okay. That's also wonderful. Why did I say that's also okay? That's so patronizing of me. Of course that's okay. The arrows of desire are sometimes dipped in poison. What did I say? I feel like your BS meter is exceptional. Chef's kiss. Just your BS meter is high quality BS meter that can see right through things. And I think that the older you get, the more you cultivate your ability to discern and be a better judge of character, the more you understand the people you deal with, the less you want to become dependent on another person, or the less you want to mold yourself after another person. And that is a beautiful thing. And I think, yeah, I think it sets a good example for also people in your life who are dealing with the same thing. But looking in your life from the outside, I will put myself first today. Okay, some people think it's because you're selfish. Especially, but the people who find you selfish are people who feel rejected by you. And with the king energy, combined with the king energy, some of these people who feel rejected by you weren't even rejected by you. You were perfectly nice. It's just that these people kind of have these insecurities, and they think that, oh well, if she's attractive and she's got this and that and she's single, well, then she must have high standards. And these people feel like they don't live up, even if you're the most unjudgmental person. You're not classist, you're not materialistic, you're not even lookist. You just want somebody with a good sense of humor. But people are just kind of, they chicken out. I see people wanting to pursue you with the Two of Cups, but again, they feel like they have to be your equal, and a lot of people are insecure. I mean, if you weren't, here's the messed up part about this. If you were taken, if you had a partner, I feel like people would find you more approachable. That's the crazy part. If you had a husband or you had a boyfriend, because I'm mostly talking about hetero romantic people like me. I mean, you can be bisexual and hetero romantic, you know. So hetero romantic people, I feel like when you're taken, and when people think that you're actually capable of being in relationships with people, when people believe that another human being can actually pique your interest, you become more accessible to them. Does that make sense? So when people see you partnered, this is so messed up. When people see you partnered, they kind of get this urge to steal you from your partner. People want you to have affairs with them, which is so messed up. Actually, I've seen this energy manifest in my life. So, this one time I pretended to have a boyfriend, and that backfired. The fact that I had a boyfriend actually made the person pursuing me pursue me harder. And I don't know why people are like this, but I feel like, yeah, the fact, if you're happily single, don't be afraid of actually saying you're single, because the fact that you're single protects you from unwanted attention, which I know sounds like that sounds so counterintuitive, because you would think that if a pushy person were pursuing you and you wanted to ward them off, you wanted to just get them to back off, saying that you're married or saying that you have a husband would get them to back off. But for people who resonate with this reading, I'm getting the energy of, if you have a partner, you attract narcissistic people who want to prove their worth by beating your partner out. These people want you literally to have an affair with them. But if you openly say, I'm single and I'm not looking, these people will back off. Because for some reason, saying that I'm single and not looking tells these more kind of narcissistic individuals that they will never meet whatever imaginary standard they have in their head. I don't think you have high standards. That's the thing, though. I think you're a very loving person, because otherwise I don't think the Two of Cups would appear in the right side of the reading if you were as bad as Yeah, I don't think you're terrible. I don't think you're rude. Even when you reject people, you try to deliver a gentle blow. I don't think you're mean. I don't think you bully people for their looks. I think you're actually very kind, and that confuses people even more because okay, she's not a B word, but then she's not bad looking. So what's wrong with her? You know? That's kind of the energy I get from it. What else do we have here? I think I'm almost done. Oh, we haven't read Keith Richards. So Keith Richards, let me just be your own best impersonator. Never be accused of anything you haven't already confessed to. Laugh at your own darkness. People think, okay, people think that there's another side of you and you must have some deep dark secret why you're single, which I don't know, maybe it's true, maybe it's not. But for some of you, people's imaginations just go wild. And I mean, what is the solution to this? I don't know. You're just living your life the way you want to live your life. Nothing wrong with the way you live your life. I guess the takeaway, be your best own person impersonator is also giving me that narcissistic people are even more attracted to you when you're taken. And also, Keith Richard is from the Rolling Stones, and there's that Rolling Stones song, Sympathy for the Devil. And the Sympathy for the Devil lyrics, if you look into that Rolling Stone song, Sympathy with the Devil, it's kind of this, it kind of describes the devil as this very refined, kind of classy person. And I feel like people think of you that way, especially since Keith Richards is right under the king. And also, what else? Laugh at your darkness. People love your sense of humor. And I think that what you look in people is their sense of humor. Never be accused of anything you haven't already confessed to. People are so nosy, though. They want to know why you're single. And I think that because you don't really have a clear answer as to why you're single, you just kind of, oh, right, people my age are supposed to be coupled, but I'm not. Huh. I know, it's kind of that energy. It's kind of that energy where you don't feel the urge to couple up. You probably kind of feel, oh, why would I complicate my life like that? I think that you're the type of person who prefers to fall in love organically, but you don't fall in love easily. And people's imaginations go wild. They go amok with when they think about what goes on in your life. But nobody, for some reason, people have enough respect toward you that they wouldn't say it out loud. People are deathly afraid of offending you. Actually, that just happened to me when I was running errands today, and that's what inspired me today. Okay, so I was running errands and I was in a waiting room, and somebody asked me, so they asked me something about basically they assumed that I was partnered up and I must be married, and I'm not married. And that person was, oh my God, I'm so sorry. They I don't know. They probably must have thought I'd been in a long-term relationship that didn't pan out, or I don't know. This person just thought I was in a relationship, and I was totally unoffended by the question, but they were so apologetic, and I feel like people are afraid to ask you questions because they feel like you might get offended, when in fact you don't even think about your love life as much. So I guess the point of this reading is to give you a glimpse on the way people view your singlehood from the outside looking in. And I want this to be a safe space for single people. And I know that when you fit certain beauty standards and you're single, people can get super judgmental. People make stupid assumptions. People think there's something must be wrong with you because it's clearly not her looks. She must have a rotten personality or something. So I just know that you're not alone. Know that you're not the only person who chooses to be single, who consider yourself lucky. And here's the thing, so many people feel sorry for you when in fact you are so blessed. Okay, I need you to understand how blessed you are. And I know this is going to sound horrible because well, how can you be blessed when you're traumatized by other people's traumas? But think about it. You're not the person going through a divorce. You're not the person who married a cat in a bag, which again, I feel terrible talking about cats that way because I love all cats no matter what. You didn't marry a bad surprise. And I know this is going to get dark, but you're not actually the one getting, mistreated in a toxic relationship. You're witnessing that in another person, and then you learn you are a very fortunate person in that you learn your life lessons through other people. You're not here learning it the hard way. So as much as people, because they have this idea that, oh, a person must be married, a person must have children, that they feel sorry for you, when in fact you are blessed, you're lucky. It's just that people don't see it that way, and I need you to see it that way, because again, with the damsel card, you might think that you're worth pitying, but you're one of the lucky ones. You need to understand how lucky you are. Okay? So I hope if you fall in love organically, I hope you fall in love organically. If you don't feel the urge to go on dating apps, don't let your friends who are worried about their aging pressure you. And here's my experience. My experience is my friends who are happily married, my friends who actually enjoy their marriage and they love their partners genuinely, they never pressure me to get married. It's my unhappily married friends who are always asking me, how come you're not married? It's kind of like that, what's the saying? Misery loves company. So it's always the unhappily married couples that are pressuring me to get married too. But the happily married people are just minding their own business. They're too busy enjoying their lives to pry into my business. So just understand that. And not every person asking you about your relationship is unhappy though, because in my experience, sometimes it's just a curious auntie. It's and when I say auntie, I don't literally mean it has to be a relative. I'm just saying that's what we call ladies of a certain age in my culture. They're just a curious auntie. They mean well. They're just asking you small talk. You're in a waiting room. You're in the doctor's office. You're waiting for your turn, and people are just all awkward. Nobody knows each other. They're probably worried about some diagnosis or whatever, and they're just trying to make small talk. They're trying to connect with another human being, and that's also one of the advices for this reading is please don't lash out at people when they ask you questions about your relationship status. I know it's prying. I know it kind of violates your privacy, and especially if you're attractive, people will have wild ideas. Their imaginations will run wild as to why you're single. Oh my God, why is she single at her age? People, in my culture, when people ask you these prying questions, they're just concerned for you. They just care. They really care. It's just that sometimes it's a generational thing where the older generations are concerned for us. They mean well, so don't lash out at them. Please don't lash out. Today, somebody asked me something like that, and the person was so apologetic. Oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to. Because I feel like he thought that he hit a nerve with me, and it really didn't. I didn't care, and I just felt so bad that he felt bad. And me seeing him feel bad made me want to do a reading to give advice for people in the same situation. Please don't lash out, because people mean well. People are not, of course you've got people who are mean about it, but not everybody is out here to hurt us, So I hope that helped. I really hope that helped. I hope that was empowering. And just know this channel is a safe space for single people and people who are single and not looking. So yeah, thanks for watching. Bye. I really hope this helped.